Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Manisha Mishra show. And today we have our guest, Miss Pooja Shashi Shekhar, with us, who comes from the life coaching industry. She has an experience of more than 3 4 years in this industry, and she has come with us to share her own life story, her wisdom, her knowledge, and years of experience of helping women to find their passion. She's a homemaker turned life coach turned an empowering woman who is empowering other women to find their passion and their identity. So thank you so much, Pooja, for joining in with me today and accepting my request to be here with me on my show to share your wisdom, knowledge, experience, and immense of quality and value that you bring with yourself. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you so much for having me here because the whole idea is to reach out to maximum people we can to make, them aware of their potential, and you're helping me into
Mhm.
that to reach more and more people. So thank you so much for having me here.
Love it, love it. Truly grateful for your presence, for your energy, and for the impact that you are creating into this world. So, I would start my conversation with you with my questions. So, do I have your permission to ask the questions now?
Yes, sure. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, here comes my first question, which is what advice would you give to women who are struggling to find their identity and their passion?
Oh, I have been there for a very long time, honestly speaking, because I
Mhm.
have been a homemaker and 8 years homemaker. And I don't know, but there was something, always I had it in this my mind that
Mhm.
I need to do something, I need to do something, I need to have my identity, I need to have my own income. And
Mhm.
I have been there in that confusion, lack of clarity of what to do,
Yeah.
where to find my passion, what to do, as in like what kind of skill set do I have. I had no clarity on that, so I have been there for
Mhm.
a very long time. But you know what, I feel like it's said that the quality of questions you ask yourself is equally, equal in equal proportion to the
Mhm.
quality of life you live. Okay,
Okay.
so you need to ask those quality questions to yourself. You need to go in past and see
Mhm.
that so it's like I will just point down few questions. So first, ask yourself as in like what
Hmm.
were your favorite things in the past, what you love to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Second question, as in like what you are naturally good at.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe you have to, again, who inspires you the most? You have to look
Okay.
for the qualities you like in people around. Yeah. We
Hmm.
all have someone
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
we look up to, as in like, so
Mhm.
just see what
Mhm.
qualities do you like? And what are your deepest values? And
Okay.
we always have some cause. I remember that domestic violence was one of the thing which used to trigger me a lot because I used to see a lot of women suffering around.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I feel like that was one of the thing which always pushed me towards life coaching, that I wanted to help women to get out of that victimhood mode. So you have to look for, what are those causes where you
Okay.
strongly believe in. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
What do you, and again, you have to also see that, what kind of problem people come to you with. We all have those people
Hmm.
who seek some advice
Yeah,
from us.
yeah, yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
see what kind of problems they are coming to you with. Yeah.
Hmm.
And also look at your joy list, as in like what help, there are certain things. I remember that I used to lose track of time when I used to sing.
Okay.
I don't know how many of people around me also know this, but I am a bathroom singer, by the way, and I love singing
Nice.
to the extent that singing feels like meditation. So just see that what kind of joy list you have. Just create one joy list and find out what helps you to lose the track of time. You have to also
Okay.
see what challenges you have overcome, or maybe what difficulties you have overcome. You may have faced certain difficulties and you have
Yeah,
overcome.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can help people with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You, when people say that I don't have any good quality in me, I do not have any skill set, but that's not
Hmm.
possible. That's not possible literally if you go deeper into your, finding your passion, your interest
Mm-hmm.
area, your joy list, you'll find something you are good into it. Okay. So
Yeah.
look for, good qualities in you.
Hmm.
What people appreciate you for. So
Yeah.
find those things. And there are certain things you yourself feel great about yourself. So I
Yeah.
knew
True
that
that.
I have been always a kind of person who
Mm-hmm.
loved helping others, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
to another level. I have always been that person, not as in like now, but
Mm-hmm.
also in my college time when I was in school, all the time.
Um,
It's just that I
yeah.
couldn't find this in myself. So just go
Hmm.
into and see that, what are those things which are great
Hmm.
about you and you know it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So basically, if you ask me, you have to dive deeper into who
Hmm.
you are, what you
Mm-hmm.
have been doing, what
Mm-hmm.
interests you, and what are your
Mm-hmm.
value system. And when you bring it together, you will find something really very unique.
Hmm.
And moreover, you may find like 3 to 4 things or 5 things.
Hmm.
But let me just, it's a bitter truth. You will never ever find your passion while
Hmm.
thinking and sitting on your couch. You will
Yeah.
have to step out of your comfort zone. You will have to step out and try certain things. Whatever
Yeah.
passions you have found or interest area you have found, you have to try. And then slowly and gradually, you may find, okay, this doesn't work for me. This works for me. Okay, this is something I would like to work, but not in professional way. And this,
Hmm.
so when I started finding my passion, I also had 3 to 4 things. And
Hmm.
trust me, I tried out of 4 things, I tried three. And
Okay.
luckily, third one worked out for me so beautifully that I did not
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
go for the fourth one. But
Yeah.
definitely, you
Hmm.
have to give it a try. You have to try it out as in like practically to find that
Yeah.
what suits, what not. Yeah.
Wow, amazing, beautiful. That the starting which you shared with us, like you need to find that thing which gives you joy and
Correct.
the thing which is valuable for you. Amazing. Like it's very important for all of us to give a glance to the things where we are spending a lot of time and time just flies away like anything. So beautiful and amazing experiences that you have and the person you have become by finding out your passion, your interests, your joy, and finally today you are living that life. It is really exceptionally amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and a beautiful answer. So now I would jump to my another question, which is yeah, I just want to know something more about your own journey because it is very much inspiring. And we connect with the stories, we connect with the person's life lessons a lot. So I would love to know more about your own personal journey to reach here from being a homemaker to become an empowered woman who is empowering other. My God, brilliant thing you are doing. So please share something with us.
Thank you so much. And I feel like this is an opportunity for me to reach out to more and more homemakers because how we see ourselves,
Hmm.
trust me. Like people do not see our worth, honestly
Hmm.
speaking, at least till today, that's the truth, that people do
Hmm.
not see our worth. And
Hmm.
somewhere we have started believing that
Hmm.
being a homemaker is not a good thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
thank you so much for giving this opportunity where I can reach out and say that, see, I have been a homemaker for 8 years, and this is my truth today. I have become a different personality. So, it doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter who you have been, what kind of education you have got, or whether you have been educated or not. Helping doesn't require any qualification, any which ways. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So for me, I have been a homemaker for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm an MBA and I
Mm-hmm.
had finance as my background.
Okay.
The majority in major subject, I had finance. And
Hmm.
after finishing my MBA, I was working with one of the most reputed bank in India.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around 15 months of job. And after that, I
Okay.
got married because my parents wanted to me to get married, how it happens in Indian houses.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's why I was like, ठीक है, very obedient child. I was like, okay, ठीक है, कर दो शादी. And I got married, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to be a very short break, and I will
Mm-hmm.
make back very soon, as in like maybe
Hmm.
couple of months, just to settle in
Hmm.
new environment, new city, new family.
Hmm.
But I don't know what exactly happened. If you really ask me today also that what happened, that why you ended being a homemaker for 8 years, honestly
Hmm.
speaking, I don't have answer. Sometimes it was because I had that good girl syndrome. I
Okay.
wanted to become that best wife, being there,
Hmm.
like in the door, serving that glass of
Yeah.
water and food, and being that best
Hmm.
daughter-in-law,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
showing in my best avatar in my
Mm-hmm.
family. So my domestic avatar was so very powerful at that point that I couldn't
Yeah.
see. I do have dreams, I do have aspiration, I do. Of course, I
Hmm.
always have been a very highly ambitious girl, but then I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what happened. Maybe like culturing and conditioning, what we have gone through.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that was the reason that I settled. But definitely, I wanted to work.
Hmm.
And I remember that my husband very sweetly he said that, you know what, try getting into this public banks examinations and everything. And once you get clear, we'll shift there, we'll do something, but you can work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened.
Hmm.
Somewhere slowly and gradually, I lost my spark.
Hmm.
And then, of course, I had like my first baby, then second baby, and
Hmm.
bringing them up became my priority.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's how 8 years, I don't know how it just went. But I know one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
even my husband knows this, that in these 8 years, I was never ever happy, even though I had a very comfortable life, a very supporting husband, two
Hmm.
daughters, a very happy life. But somewhere inside, there was like something is missing, something is missing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Some of us, I guess, we are born for more. And whether we accept it or not,
Hmm.
deep within we know that.
Yeah.
I guess that was the inner calling which never ever allowed me to settle with the life I was living. And
Hmm.
my daughter was just, my elder one was 5 years and my
Mm-hmm.
younger one was 1 year. And that point, I was like at peak of my frustration. And I
Hmm.
was sulking inside and I said, no, Pooja, enough is enough. You can't live this life because people around everybody can see in you. It's just that
Yeah.
you are like, nahi karna.
Huh.
So I started asking myself those questions as in like, क्यों नहीं करना? And what I
Hmm.
can do. And of course, motherhood came first thing to me as in like my priority. So I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
कि ठीक है, इसको तो compromise नहीं कर सकते. So
Hmm.
I started looking for the things which I could do from the
Mm-hmm.
comfort of my house. So
Yeah.
as I just told you, like a previous question when I was answering, I told you that I discovered 4 to 5 passions. So
Yeah.
in that was singing,
Hmm.
and but I understood one thing that I have to go and learn the classical music, as in like sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, and
Yeah.
somewhere I was
Yeah.
not interested into that. I loved Bollywood songs, but
Yeah.
not into classical music. And
Hmm.
I knew that I have to put a lot of hard work. And being a mom of two girls,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
difficult. At that point, they
Mm-hmm.
were toddler and infant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the second was event
Hmm.
management.
Event
Honestly speaking,
management. Okay.
yeah, so I did a couple of events also at that point.
Okay.
Not as in like taking projects, but
Mm-hmm.
moreover doing it for friends and families just to showcase my work. But what I
Okay.
understood later that, it used to take a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of hard work around the event. And I had to step
Hmm.
out of my house. And again,
Hmm.
with small baby, it was getting difficult.
Hmm.
Then the
Yeah.
third one came as in like helping others, where I got introduced to my mentor and I got to know that, okay, right from the comfort of your house, you have to just
Hmm.
log in on Zoom and you have to
Hmm.
learn, and then you have to do the same thing for other people.
Hmm.
So honestly speaking, not knowing anything about life coaching, but I just jumped into it as in like full of curiosity that let me just explore.
Okay.
And the way my life transformed,
Hmm.
all those frustration, anger, resentment, grudges,
Hmm.
you carry all those pain, those
Yeah.
stories from the past, those baggages. I was able to, let go everything. And
Hmm.
slowly and gradually, everything started feeling so lighter. I started feeling from then. I was like,
Uh,
wow, is this
yeah.
actually like, true to be,
Mm-hmm.
I was not able to, accept that this could be one thing, anyone
Uh,
can achieve because we have
yeah,
seen
yeah.
people suffering around. So it was really difficult
Mm-hmm.
for me to accept. But then I
Mm-hmm.
knew that, yeah, this is true. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started working with my mentor and it gave me a lot of experience, of course. I
Yeah.
got exposed to real people around with lots of
Mm-hmm.
pain, which helped me
Yeah.
to get into gratitude that I am blessed because the
Correct.
kind of pain, the kind of problems they were going through was another level. While I was crying
Yeah.
over this one thing, I saw
Hmm.
real pain in this world and I was like, oh my God. And then I
Yeah.
started feeling how blessed I am to be able to help those kind of people,
Yeah.
to be
True that.
able to literally, hold their hand and pull them this side where I was experiencing all these, beautiful things. And when it started happening, I started receiving those gratitude messages and,
Yeah.
love that felt the kind of fulfillment I started feeling at
Yeah.
that point that I decided, okay, this is going to be the thing I am going to do for rest of my life. Just
Hmm.
serving, just helping and being there for someone, being that
Yeah.
safe space for someone, and
Hmm.
helping someone to again hold hand and pull this side and show them that, okay, this is also a possibility.
Wow. What
Now
a
I found my
beautiful
passion.
story. Wow. Amazing. In fact, I also read in your stories when people send you gratitude messages. You're doing an incredible job and a wonderful, very powerful, strong story. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I have learned a lot, and I'm feeling like, 8 years of resentment and that craving to do something but not able to do. This is really, really painful. I can totally understand it, and the way you explored yourself, figured out the options yourself, and finally you have chosen the right fit for you, and now you are so much deep in this particular thing. You are living with the service heart every single day. Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing this. I definitely know that the people who are going to watch this podcast, they are really going to get inspired from your story. Loved it. Thank you.
That's the whole idea to inspire.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
I would love to ask you another question, which is how can women navigate societal expectations and
Mhm.
stereotypes to embrace their true passion and identities? This is like, as women, it becomes, a kind of societal pressure with
Correct.
us that we need to be a certain way, we need to follow a certain path, we should eat a certain way, we should walk a certain way. Like, and so in all these hustle bustle, how can a woman find her identity and maintain a harmony between all these things? It's difficult, and I'm very sure a lot of women are definitely craving to get some answer about this particular
100%.
thing.
100%. Trust me, today when I see with my clients, but I
Mm-hmm.
have seen that all those unfulfillment, the pain, all those which comes, it's out
Yeah.
of, not being able to do their best,
Hmm.
not being able to be at the level of the expectation people have from them.
Hmm.
And honestly speaking, that has been my truth as well. I just shared in my
Yeah.
story that I
Yeah.
tried to be the best wife, the best daughter-in-law, the best
Yeah.
mom. But
Hmm.
you know what? I failed. I failed really very badly. And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to become someone else who I wasn't. I was trying to fit into that box, box what society expects from you, how they want you to be, and they want you to be. And I was trying to fit into that box, and probably
Hmm.
that I failed.
Hmm.
So it's really very important to understand, first of all, that,
Mm-hmm.
when again, this is again coming from my story itself, that, when you embrace your own passion, when
Hmm.
live the life, the kind of identity you want to have for yourself, it's
Mm-hmm.
actually a very powerful act of self-love.
Yeah, true that.
Understand this, yeah? It's an act of self-love, and it's very, very powerful. Why do I say that it's powerful? Because the only time when you have your cup filled,
Hmm.
you are able to pour it into someone else's cup.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
your cup is empty,
Yeah.
you don't have anything. You are drained out completely by giving, giving, giving. You have
Hmm.
no, like, literally, you no longer have anything.
Hmm.
Then how do you help others? How do you serve others? How do you be the best version of yourself, even for your loved ones? Not possible.
Hmm.
It's just that because we have been seeing from generations that,
Mm-hmm.
women need to sacrifice, women need to adjust, women need to,
Yeah,
give
yeah,
up on
yeah,
their
yeah,
career. We
yeah,
are
yeah.
just following it. We are actually conforming to it
Hmm.
without putting our head that is it actually helping us or maybe our loved ones, because they are not even our loved ones are not receiving the true love we have for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
My husband was experiencing a very nagging woman as a wife, honestly speaking, while I was trying to be the best wife.
Hmm.
That's the truth. Because
Hmm.
I was unfulfilled. So I was trying
Yeah.
to get my happiness from here, attention from here. Sorry to use that language, but
Hmm.
literally, if you see, whether it's me, whether it's like women around, we have literally
Hmm.
become a beggar.
Hmm.
थोड़ा सा प्यार दे दो, थोड़ा सा attention दे दो, थोड़ी सी
Hmm.
respect दे दो.
Hmm.
It's not this way it works. You have to build it for yourself.
Yeah, true that.
And for that, self awareness is really very important. You have to be aware of what exactly you want. See, at no point I am saying that being a homemaker is wrong. See,
Yeah.
I have been one, and I know how much time, effort, and energy it takes.
Yeah.
Trust me, आप जो ये काम करते हो, like whatever I'm working with the client and doing the
Hmm.
calls or whatever programs, at some point आपको पूरे दिन में ऐसा लगेगा कि ठीक है काम खत्म हो गया. For
Hmm.
a homemaker, it never happens that way.
Yeah, true that.
It's like ongoing job 24 into 7 you keep doing. So it's
Yeah.
really difficult job, and I completely respect women for
Yeah.
being a homemaker, for being there for their family. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, being a homemaker and serving your family, are you feeling content? That's the
Yeah.
question. Are you feeling fulfilled?
Hmm.
Are you feeling happy?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. If you're happy, if you're content, if you are fulfilled, please, please go
Yeah.
ahead and stay there, because, of course, nobody can replace the woman of the house.
Hmm.
But then, if you are not,
Hmm.
it's really time to get deeper into your values to understand what you really want. So, self awareness is important, as in understanding who you are, what you want in
Hmm.
your life, what makes you happy. For me, I was educated, right? I just mentioned I'm an MBA, and I really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to work and be in that corporate world.
Yeah.
I always dreamt of that life, and suddenly it was like downfall.
Hmm.
घर संभालो, रोटियां बेलो, diaper change करो. I couldn't take it. Maybe maybe I was born for something more, and I had that realization somewhere within. So
Yeah.
self-awareness very important. And when you have that awareness, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you have to set boundaries. As you just spoke
Yeah.
about stereotypes and societal expectations. So of course,
Yeah.
have been living in a certain way, so society do have some expectations from us,
Yeah.
but it's our job to set that boundary, as in like
Hmm.
where people can interfere, where
Mm-hmm.
people can get into your matter or your personal
Mm-hmm.
choices, and where they can't. Of course, setting boundaries will
Yeah.
definitely have consequences,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you have to take that stand
Hmm.
with the belief system. You have to get into that belief that, because when choices are yours,
Mm-hmm.
consequences are also going to be yours.
Hmm. Yeah.
When you are making choice to stand for yourself and go
Hmm.
against the societal terms, you will
Hmm.
have to face consequences, and face those consequences out of choice again. Because I believe this is the last generation who is going through these stereotypes and societal expectations. Next
Yeah.
generation,
True
trust
that.
me, they are not going to take it. They are not going to take
No.
it. We are the bridge. We are somewhere
Mm-hmm.
bridge between the last generation and this coming up generation. So
Mm-hmm.
we are just know that we are just building that bridge, and no longer it's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. So at least, we will have to face this struggle to be able to change the world.
Yeah. Wow.
And of course, you have to seek support from your people who really
Yeah.
believe into it. So that
Mm-hmm.
small group of people, it could be your friends, it could be
Yeah.
your family, it could be
Mm-hmm.
some mentor. Of course, seek help as a mentorship. I trust
Mm-hmm.
me, when I have gone through 3 years of coachings and I have been giving coachings,
Mm-hmm.
this is a huge realization that nobody can be better than a mentor, because they don't judge you for
Mm-hmm.
who you are, from where you come, what kind of emotions and feelings you carry,
Yeah.
and kind of drawbacks you have. They just
Yeah.
support you, they just push you gently, they make it happen together. So why not seek
Yeah.
mentorship? Look for the community
Hmm.
you can belong to, or maybe friends and family, or any well wisher.
Yeah.
Just think connection. That support matters a
Hmm.
lot when you are starting up anything.
Yeah. True. Very
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
for me, if you ask me, just to make it as a pointer, so self-awareness, setting
Yeah.
boundaries,
Yeah.
and then you have to take a stand for yourself. You have to seek mentorship, and you have to
Hmm.
call someone who can support you, maybe a community, maybe friends or family. Just to summarize it. Yeah.
Wow. Beautifully summarized. So I loved it
I did.
when you said this now that you need to see the choices you are making and you are ready for the consequences. This particular fact in itself is so empowering that when we are taking something with 100% responsibility, the steps we are taking, and we are 100% ready to take the responsibility for the consequences. I think this is the starting of that particular journey which leads
True.
women to become empowered. Thank you so much
True.
for sharing this. Having limiting beliefs, and you
Yes,
talked
Manisha,
about
because most of the times, sorry,
no
most
worries.
of the times we get into the zone, as in like, why should I?
Yeah, true that.
The ego starts playing. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to get into acceptance that everybody is doing their best according to their understanding, right?
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
feel that you should not, and you
Hmm.
have to stand by your values. So
Yeah.
let's not get into that victimhood mode, or maybe like
Mm-hmm.
all time a lady who is like on fire all the time,
Yeah,
ready to
yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
rather take that stand for yourself and face those
Mm.
consequences, knowing that it's your choice.
Hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. I think this is really, really helpful and is going to help a lot of people out there in this world. So now I would love to ask you another question, which is, can you please suggest some techniques that women can adopt to make them feel independent or start their journey of empowerment? Because you yourself have gone through a lot of like experiments, experiences, learnings, and now you are making other people to cross all these beautiful stages of life and become such a radiant and strong personality. So what are the techniques that a woman can like adopt and imbibe in life to make herself strong?
So honestly speaking, when you talk about the qualities which feels like, becoming strong,
Mm-hmm.
it's It completely depends on the daily practices you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so where
Beautiful.
I just said that when I started helping others, I found
Mm-hmm.
that, I started feeling grateful because I saw real problems in this world. So I
Yeah.
think gratitude is the
Hmm.
first thing you need to get into. Be
Hmm.
grateful for what you have is first exercise, no matter where you come from and what you want into your life.
Yeah.
Gratitude is first thing. So start
Hmm.
writing, journaling, as in like 5 things, 10 things. I still remember when I was supposed to write 5 things. I used to wonder, "Hi, 5 चीजें रोज क्या लिखूंगी?" So
Uh,
I used to repeat the same thing, and I couldn't see as in like something good into my life. So I started writing, "Thank you for AC, thank you for bed, thank you for the,
uh,
all the tangible things I had."
hmm. Hmm.
But
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
to where I am today, the list is never ending because,
Hmm.
first of all, I'm grateful for waking up this morning.
Hmm.
There are
Hmm.
people who do not wake up next morning.
True that.
I'm grateful for having this whole body as in like one piece. There are people who do
Yeah.
not have their, body parts and they need to survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm grateful that, I have my full family as in like
Hmm.
one place. Okay, there are
Hmm.
people who have lost their family members and going through real pain. So when you look the world around the pain, you will
Yeah.
find. So it's really very important to you for you to become strong first to get into that belief system that how like already blessed you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Second
Hmm.
thing which I do every day, again, or just to cut it short, I follow
Hmm.
savers, which comes from the morning miracles. I just
Yeah.
love, and I love to, again, I just love to make it a little easier. So I don't do it all in morning, but definitely I
Hmm.
break it and do it throughout the day.
Okay.
So definitely, I go for meditation, which is
Hmm.
like ideally for me, meditation is visualizing myself. I visualize
Hmm.
myself as in my future self. So I
Yeah.
see what I'm wearing, who I'm becoming, who I have become rather, not as in like
Yeah.
becoming, but who have become, what I'm
Yeah.
wearing, what am I doing, what kind of people I'm hanging around with, what kind of,
Hmm.
like I see everything in details. What kind of house I'm living in, what kind of car I'm driving, each and everything I do. So it's like 15 minutes visualization in my
Okay.
silence. I just go into my silence and visualize the whole thing and
Hmm.
come back.
Hmm.
And that sets the tone of my day. So I get into the action of doing things which will take me closer to that. So
Wow.
that's second thing. So gratitude and then visualization, of course, I do. Now, some people may call it meditation, some people may call it like visualization. I love to visualize like this.
Yeah.
And of course, I do exercise every day. It's really very
Okay.
important because that boosts your confidence, a kind of
True.
and few chemicals in your body, which
Hmm.
makes you feel motivated to get into action. So
Yeah.
it's really very important. And then, of course, a lot of journaling. So when you say that, how do you feel strong? We
Mm-hmm.
all have those inner chattering happening in our head all the time.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
yeah. And somewhere you have to do something to
Hmm.
beat those inner chattering. So it's really very important to note it down. So before I go to bed, whatever
Mm-hmm.
I do have in my head, I just write it down,
Okay.
everything in detail,
Okay.
whatever I have felt, the negative
Hmm.
ones especially, and I
Okay.
destroy it, flush it, burn it, uh,
Okay.
tear it up, and throw it, whatever you want to do. But I destroy it. And the second
Hmm.
thing I do is I write down my intentions and I go to bed with the belief that God is going to guide me. So,
Wow.
two ways to feel strong is getting into belief system, which I say this
Hmm.
to myself every single day, that I
Hmm.
am God's favorite child.
Yeah.
I say this to myself and I live my life by faith and surrender.
Hmm.
Nothing works for you. Trust me, when you are following your passion, even
Hmm.
this is for the ladies who want to pursue their passion and who
Mm-hmm.
wants to, live a life, purposeful life. Trust
Yeah.
me, it's not going to be easy. I don't want to lie here or make those fancy thing as in like this is possible, that is possible if you do this. It doesn't happen
Yeah.
that. Nothing
Hmm.
comes easy to you. You have to work hard for it. It's going to take time. So a lot of persistence you require. So
Okay.
for persistence, faith is required. And for
Hmm.
being faith and stay on the journey, you have to surrender to the process. Yeah. So you
Hmm.
have to start working on it, as in like, so this is the favorite word I say, line I say, that I'm God's favorite child and
Hmm.
I'm taken care of by him. So I keep walking my path.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Very true.
seen like child when you throw them in air?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
They don't cry. They don't cry.
No.
They don't have the fear of
No.
falling down because they
No.
know that you have two hands which
Yeah.
are holding and they will catch you. They have that kind of faith.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you have that kind of faith for God, divine energy,
Yeah.
universe, whatever you want to call, but if
Yeah.
you have that kind of faith, trust me, you become strong from within because you have no longer that fear of falling
Yeah.
down. And even
Falling
when you
down.
fall down, you have another level of faith that, okay, this is happening for a reason. So he's going to
Yeah.
guide you in a better path.
Hmm. True. Very
Otherwise,
true.
tell me how do you, because see, there's no other way to feel strong, I will tell you, because we all
Hmm.
come from our past experience.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you're not feeling strong, definitely there has been some experience which
Yeah.
has not
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
so good. And
Hmm.
by when
Hmm.
you live by that,
Hmm.
can't be strong.
True.
Another line which I love to say to myself anytime, I feel like I can't do this. I say that, Pooja, you are no longer that 15-year-old.
Okay. Hmm.
You're no longer that 15-year-old, 25-year-old, whosoever, whatever age I reserve, whatever
Yeah.
is coming. So I put that age,
Okay.
I say, you are now 25 years. Again, whatever
Hmm.
I say, it will disclose my age. Don't judge me on that basis, by the way. Any which way. So
Uh,
25 years plus 10 years. So I say, Pooja, you are no longer the same person. You are 25 years old with 10 years of experience.
hmm.
So this experience has made me a better person.
Hmm.
I've learned a lot on this journey. I'm no longer that person. So I
Yeah.
beat my, thoughts with
Hmm.
by saying this, and again I
Okay.
get back into my power. So these are so most. So if you understand what I
Mm-hmm.
actually meant to say is journal
Hmm.
your thoughts. Journaling helps you a lot to, throughout all your emotions. And the second
Hmm.
thing, self-talk. Trust
Self-talk.
me, nobody, literally nobody can make you feel strong. Nobody can help you with your doubts. Nobody can help you
Yeah.
with your fear, but you yourself have to help it. So definitely get into that self-talk, the positive ones. And
Hmm.
of course, the way you, live your life as in like daily habits.
Hmm.
It's said by a very clever men that, that it's not who you are or what you have done in your life or what you have
Mm-hmm.
achieved, but you do in your daily life
Hmm.
makes you
Hmm.
successful, makes you
Hmm.
strong. So
True. Beautiful. Nice, very nice for sharing these techniques. I would like to sum it up shortly. So Pooja has given us the techniques, and she said that we should follow, we should do gratitude, we should do positive self-talk, and the very positive statement which she tells to herself on a daily basis is like she is God's favorite child, and God is always there to guide us. Having an unwavering faith and surrender towards that superpower or almighty or whatever you believe in, having that strong faith that if that particular energy is not going to make me fall, but if it makes me fall, it has something bigger for planned for myself, and that is why it is happening. So having that strong belief system that everything happens for my highest good makes you stronger. And journaling, she talked about that journaling makes you stronger from inside because it helps you declutter all your negative emotions, and sets you in a positive space. So thank you so much, Pooja, for sharing these beautiful techniques. And I'm very sure that women who are struggling to find that positive and strong space, they can at least start their journey of becoming stronger by imbibing any one of these beautiful techniques. Start with any one of these beautiful techniques, and then you can see the magic in your life yourself. So thank you so much for sharing. Now we are very much near to the end of the podcast. So now I would love to ask you my very last question, which is, how can women overcome that fear or self doubt when she starts her journey towards empowerment?
I don't know if I should say that, but you can never ever overcome your fear and self
Hmm.
doubt.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
truth.
True that.
It stays with you and you have to live by it. It's just that you just need to know that, it's going to be there with you. And no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, you have to still keep going.
Hmm.
Okay. So I heard this from somewhere. I don't remember as if now the source, but I heard this, and this was a very beautiful sentence. It said that, when you face the fear,
Mm-hmm.
fear goes. But when you
Okay.
avoid the fear
Mm-hmm.
grows.
Oh, nice, beautiful lines.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So anytime you are just trying to, avoid, it will keep growing. So
Hmm.
antidote to fear is actually to getting into action.
Okay.
That's the only antidote we have, as in like getting into action. So you have to get into action despite of being fearful, despite of having those self-doubt. There's no other way. So you have to do more of what makes you feel scared or fearful. You have to
Okay.
step out of your comfort zone and do
Mm-hmm.
something new. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to always see and seek for the things which you are
Hmm.
fearful. So I remember, first opportunity which came to me for,
Mm-hmm.
like public speaking was in one of the college it was actually Arts and Commerce College in Mumbai. And I got this opportunity to address 200 plus people like physical.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly speaking, I was
Mm-hmm.
literally shivering from inside. And
Mm-hmm.
this lady who gave me this opportunity says, she asked me that, have you ever spoken to this big public? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
never ever spoken in public. She said, will you be able
Okay.
to do it? I said,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And she said, are you sure? I said, yes. And in my head, I was like, हाँ तो बोल दिया करेगी कैसे? Trust me,
Hmm.
I was shivering, literally shivering. But
Hmm.
when I delivered my talk, it was on the topic of mental health.
Hmm.
I spoke. Out of those, young girls, two girls
Hmm.
came to me and she said that, ma'am, I want to become like you.
Oh.
In that moment, I was like, Pooja, have you not have done this?
Mm-hmm.
You have never got the confidence to go for next talk.
Yeah.
And neither you would have actually motivated these girls. So every
Hmm.
single time I get over my fears, my self doubt, I get more confident and
Okay.
I'm working towards what I want to. Again, same goes with like the second opportunity which I got was a corporate training. So again, one to one, I have done so many trainings, group coaching as well, I have done. But
Mm-hmm.
corporate was completely different. And plus, it was over the Zoom call. And I was like, I
Okay.
just don't know how to, maintain that energy level over
Yeah.
Zoom call.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
me. I was like, again, literally shivering. I remember
Mm.
there was one lady from my team, and I
Mm-hmm.
just said that, कुछ बोल दे यार, उसको बोल दे that I'm not doing it for some reason. I'm not feeling well. That kind of, uh,
Hmm.
fear was inside me. I was so scared of, facing those corporate people. I had somewhere 70 individuals, as in like on the screen. They all
Okay.
logged in, and I was literally shivering. Oh my God, I can't do it. But the
Hmm.
moment screen, I put my video on, in
Mm-hmm.
few seconds, it was all gone.
Hmm.
And that's why I say that antidote to fear is getting into
Ac-
action. The
Action.
moment I got into action, the fear was there. I was scared for next few moments,
Hmm.
but gradually it all went off. So this is actually all the resistance our mind has.
Mm-hmm.
It plays those, games with us,
Games. Yeah.
but that's not true. Fear is
Yeah.
actually anticipation of pain. It's not actually exists. If you really
Hmm.
understand, it's anticipation because you don't know what will happen. So
Yeah.
anytime you're doing something uncertain, something new,
Yeah.
something which is out of your comfort zone, you will feel
Yeah.
fear. A
Yeah.
child, when a child starts walking, the child
Mm-hmm.
is actually scared of walking and falling down.
Yeah.
But don't you think that's the only way to grow? That's the only way. Otherwise, child will never start walking, never start doing certain things. So it's the
Yeah.
process, no matter what. I don't know. Again, the lot of examples are coming from child because I do have two daughters. So I remember my daughter's, she's getting some joint pain and everything. And every
Mm-hmm.
single time I told her that, darling, to grow, you have to face certain pain also.
Hmm.
So those pain are coming because you are becoming taller, you are becoming stronger. And now she comes and tells me that, Mama, फिर से पेन हो रहा है, मैं बड़ी हो रही हूँ, मैं strong बन रही हूँ. You know what?
Wow.
She is a very small child, and
Hmm.
just because I've told her,
Mm-hmm.
she's getting into that belief system and believing that she's growing stronger. Somewhere,
Yeah.
we as an individual, we as a grown up, we as a woman, we as in I don't know if I should tell this to women because we already have so much of strength. But
Hmm.
you need to get over your fear and know that you have immense power to
Yeah.
be able to do whatever you put in your head into.
Hmm.
It's just that you have to believe into yourself and know that you can do it. This fear and this self-doubt and those inner chattering, everything will stay with you. But despite of
Hmm.
it,
Yeah.
just do it. Just do it because there is no other way.
Hmm. Wow, beautiful. So the only way to get out of that self-doubt and fear zone is to be in the action mode. Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I think this with this note that getting into action, with this particular note, we're going to end our session. And the people who are going to watch this, watch you speaking, giving your own examples of how you overcame fear, going to give them a lot of courage to take the first step towards overcoming their fear and self doubt. So, ladies, women, I just want all of you to go through this podcast, the experiences and the wisdom which Pooja has shared with us today, and start taking action, start taking those small, small steps to transform your life, become stronger, and become an empowered woman, become such a personality who takes her own decision, who makes her own choices, who feels responsible for the consequences. And these all are the stepping stones towards your finding your passion, identity, and becoming empowered. So thank you so much, Pooja, for the wonderful session and amazing insights that you have shared with us today. I loved it. Truly, truly grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manisha. Thank you so much for having me here. It was lovely answering your questions because they were literally too good. And I loved answering for a reason that it gave me the opportunity to share my stories. I'm so passionate about sharing my story, as you can see. So thank you so much
Mhm.
for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.